if the startups is looking for technology, uh, it is like, could be the mobile app, the web app, or the website development. So this is our core, the providing the innovative technology. And our main, we are a US based company. We are headquartered in New York. So this is how, we engage with the startups. And along with that, we also help them in fundraising. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, that's so nice. This is really nice. I mean, I'm excited meeting you, and I can't wait to see what Kiwi Tech or what Kiwi Tech grows into. It's really, really nice meeting you. So, who else wants to share theirs? We have other founders here as well. So please, we'd like to meet you. So you can unmute and speak. I've seen Fahang here. Would you like to speak? Hi, Fahang. Okay, so please, who else? What's okay? Let's get to hear your expectations. So I'll just be picking randomly from those that are here. So okay, Jackson, you're free. Please, you can unmute and speak.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
I can hear you.
Okay. So my name is Jackson. My name is Jackson, and I recently started working on a project. I think that was last month. It's called Body Sub. So what I've been able to do with Body Sub is make subscription payments cheaper and more affordable for everyone. You
Yes,
know when you have yeah. You want to say something?
Carry on.
Okay. Yes. So you know our basic subscription like Apple Music, YouTube Family Plans, or 65 Family Plan. Sometimes you do not exactly have like people to share this plan with, and even when you do, there's mostly like a card processing issue, especially for people that are residents in Nigeria. You understand that most of your bank cards will not work on this platform. So what I've been able to do is create a platform where you don't even need to know who is on the plan. Your own is you just pay a very small token, and then the process runs automatically. So at the end of the month, you're just paying your own token. If it is Netflix, you don't have to worry about trying to reach others to come into the plan or subscribe to the plan. The whole system manages all of that way. So yeah, that's I, as a startup.
Oh, hi, Jackson. That's a good one. Please, can you share the links to your startups or whatsoever business you're into so we can also follow you, like your page and the rest? So please, you can do that in the chat. Yes, yes, Hipsy, you were very audible. We heard you clearly. Thank you so much for that. All right, guys. So we're getting into the main part of the event, and at this point, we will be bringing up our speaker for the very first speaker for today's session, and we have Mr. Godwin Benson. Okay, so Mr. Godwin is a very, very interesting person. I'll be sharing my screen now. right, guys, please confirm you can hear me clearly.
Yes, you are audible.
I can hear you clearly.
Everyone hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so guys, this is Mr. Godwin Benson. He is the CEO of Tuteria, and it's an innovative online platform that connects individuals seeking to learn a wide range of subjects and skills with local tutors who can provide personalized education. Tutoria aims to bridge the gap between learners and educators by facilitating learning opportunities in both formal and informal contexts. Previously, he was an associate consultant and IT risk advisory at Deloitte Nigeria, where he gained valuable experience in the corporate world. About his innovation, Godwin Benson's current innovation is Tuteria, addresses the pressing educational needs in Nigeria, with millions of children requiring personalized tutoring for challenging school subjects and numerous adults and youths seeking assistance with skill development, exam preparations, and concept comprehension. Tutoria was created to help them achieve their learning objectives. Tuteria officially launched in January 2016, serving as a platform that allows people to discover capable tutors within their local communities. This not only empowers learners to acquire knowledge and skills that matter to them, but also offers tutors an opportunity to earn income by teaching subjects that they are passionate about. So Mr. Godwin remains dedicated to the ongoing development of Tuteria, recognizing that there is still much work to be done in order to continue facilitating effective learning experiences for everyone. So please, using the emoji, let's give a round of applause as we invite our very first speaker for today's session, Mr. Godwin Benson.
Thank you. Thank you. That's an amazing introduction. Can I confirm if you can all hear me and possibly see me?
Yes.
Can you see me as well?
Yes, very well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Good afternoon to everyone if you're in Nigeria. Good afternoon or morning or evening if you're anywhere else. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to speak with our entrepreneurs wannabe, whether experienced, new, or just starting out. I think for me, it's always a very rare privilege to share with you all because I started at a time when most of the opportunities and resources you have now were not really in existence, when we started. So it was a really painful journey, which I would, hear some of that. But then I think it's a lot easier now to, start a business, grow your business, make impact, and actually make some money along the line. And some of that as well I'll share from my experience and some other, tips that I think would help on our journey to, changing the future and creating a different reality from that we all have now. So once again, thank you to Bincom team for inviting me. And I think that the few things that I would share would be very helpful to many of us, especially those who are just starting in or have started your business and you're at different crossroads. I'm happy to take questions and also to share from my own experience. So just a little bit more about me in addition to what you've read. My name is Godwin. We actually started Tuteria in 2014. That's when we started building the initial solution. The problem we wanted to solve then was to make personalized education more accessible to parents and children and people who need them, basically. And that was because I used to, for the longest time, I've always been a teacher. I taught in, private lessons setting. And one of the situations I had was there was a particular man who hired me to teach his son further math. And we agreed for 6,000 naira per month, which at the time was a lot of money. This was maybe 2008 or so. And I taught this man's son, but then at the end of the contract, at the end of the month rather, he didn't pay me the 6,000 naira. And that was very painful because, I had spent the money in my head. I thought of the things I would buy, the textbooks, shirts. In fact, I think the things I was going to buy was up to like 13,000. But I felt like with 6,000, I could buy everything. I was so rich. So for him not to pay me, that was a very big dent. And then I thought about how do I ensure that this doesn't happen to me or to anyone else who is involved in tutoring like I was. And on the other hand, I discovered that he was looking for a tutor for like 3 months, asking people in his church, people in his neighborhood, and he couldn't find someone for over 3 months. What that meant to me was those were 3 months where his son did not get the help that he needed. And so the second side to that question in my mind was, how do I make it easier for people to find quality teachers, in a matter of minutes or seconds, as it might be, so that, they can get the help they need faster and they can, make advancements in their area of, interest. So that's what sort of birthed the idea for Tutoria. And since then, now we've grown to having over 10,000 tutors across the country. Yeah. And we've taught close to 20,000, in fact, more than 20,000 students, learning math, English, sciences, art, music. And I think we are pretty much the largest tutoring company in Nigeria at the moment. We also have students from different parts of the world, like, the UK, US, South Africa, Dubai, who are learning online with teachers that are on our platform. I think we've gone on to make quite, some significant impact in the education space. I won a couple of recognitions for the little impact you're making in education. So I think that thinking back, it's a worthwhile journey because you get to actually make the change you want to see, right? You're not just participating in, consuming what other people are doing. You can actually make your own mark in the, in time by starting a business, making a change and, making some impact. So I'm going to share from that sort of experience that I've had. Hopefully it's beneficial because again, we've grown from a team of 2 people. We are now around 35 people. So of course we've had to manage the different stages of growth, from when there were 3 team members to 8 to 18 to 20. Each of those stages come with different levels of challenges. We've also raised funding once, not so much, just 250K. So we've mostly had to learn to bootstrap the business to a point of profitability so that we can operate the business on the basis of our own revenue. So which also meant that I'm one of those entrepreneurs who did not have a choice to do business any other way than ensure that it was making money. Because, if you're bootstrapping, you don't have much leeway, to do business in a way that you're not generating revenue from the start. So those are some of the things that I would hope to share. So I was to speak on, starting a business in 2024 and what are some of the tips and ideas that I would want to share from the basis of my own experience. The first one would be actually a question, which is why do you want to start a business? Well, to put it in more context, a tech startup. I think that it's important to have your why clear to yourself. Because, oftentimes they say that a startup is a group of people who believe they can change the world, right? They can do something amazing to make a difference at whatever scale. But it's important to ask yourself why. Because, some people think startup is a road to wealth. I think there are other paths to wealth that are maybe generally easier. I have friends who straight out of school went to work in Chevron, Shell. Some went to do masters or PhD, abroad, and they're doing so well financially, right? So it's not exactly true that starting a business is for financial reasons per se. So it's important that you have your own why. Like, why am I doing this? Most times, for founders who go on to do really well, their reason is much more than personal gain. Oftentimes, it's because you've identified a problem in the community, or a problem in your world, a problem in your country, or even a global problem that you feel strongly about, and you want to provide a solution for, and that you care about to some extent. It could be, in fashion, you care about the way people dress and you want to do something about it. Or even the subscription idea that Jackson talked about. Maybe when you try to pay for these systems, for these services rather, the payment falls through, is difficult and is clunky, and that problem makes you feel upset. And then you think about, what can I do to fix it? Or you want to send money to your friend, and that entire process is clunky, difficult. I remember when we started in 2016, 2015 actually, then we got into 2016. There was no Paystack then. Most of us know Paystack now, Flutterwave and all that. They were not in existence. Maybe they just started, but there was no Paystack way of paying. And we had to pay 70 tutors. What we did was, we had to take the names and the account numbers of all these tutors and take all that plus the cash, the actual physical cash to pay them, to GT Bank, collected the deposit slip, wrote the names of each of those tutors, and then calculated the entire amount to pay them, pay that money to GT Bank, and GT Bank paid all those tutors. It's difficult to even imagine that was something that, used to happen back then. I had to do that every week because we're paying, tutors, sometimes 500,000, sometimes 1 million, but that entire process was clunky. And someone noticed that and felt, can we solve this payment problem for Nigeria and Africa? And that's what led to Paystack, Flutterwave, and a lot of other payment companies that have sprung out of that, just to solve that problem. Now, there were other people trying to solve it. There was InterSwitch at the time. There was even GT Bank that had their own sort of payment gateway. But for GT Bank, you had to pay 150,000 naira to install the gateway. For InterSwitch, I think you have to even pay much more. So it was out of reach to young companies like ours who did not have that kind of money and could not integrate those systems. Later on, Paga came on, but it wasn't as seamless as we have it now with Paystack. So fundamentally, you have to ask yourself, why? Why do I want to start a business? Don't be carried away by all the glamour and sexiness and trendiness that they seem to embellish around who a CEO is. The CEO is just a title. In actuality, you're the lifeblood of the company at the early stages. You're the marketer, you're the growth person, you're the ideator, you're the content creator, you're the HR, you're everything from start to finish. You might even be your own engineer, right? So it's important that you approach it for the right reasons, right? There is, of course, the potential of great financial prospects. If you succeed, you could drastically change your financial outlook, right? But most times that comes in several years later. There's a long period of toiling, and it's just like raising a child, right? There's a long period of giving yourself continuously to growing your idea. So it's important you are in touch with the reason why you wanted to start in the first place, which should always and mostly be a problem you've identified, a problem that affects a lot of people, because some problems are important, but they are not economically viable. Meaning, can I make money from this? Will people pay if I solve this problem? Are people already spending money trying to pay for the inconvenience that this problem presents? Are people already doing that? Because that's one of the greatest tests, that if you provided your solution to be better, faster, cheaper, easier, more convenient, whatever the case, that people will take the money they're already spending without money or time or resource, that they are already spending on something else that is because of that problem that they are spending that money, and they'll take that money and give that money to you. So that's a question you want to answer. That's what is called, market research, viability, feasibility studies. All you're trying to answer is, how big is this market? How many people have this problem? And is it an effective market? Meaning, do they have the willingness and the capability to pay? I'll give an instance. There was a friend of mine from MIT, brilliant guy. He created a very amazing software that could help that could compress videos, and you could watch a video of like maybe 20 MB. You could compress it to like maybe 1 MB and still retain the quality. And he decided to come back to Nigeria and launch a video tutorial business where he got like content for WAEC, GC, and the rest of that, and made it into small videos that students could watch. Amazing idea. He solved a very important problem, which is the cost of data, low-end devices, making that accessible to students. But guess what? The platform had over 70,000 users, but zero revenue, literally zero. So it was actually making sense. Students liked it. They were using it, they were downloading it, sharing with their friends. But I mean, that market is very difficult to commercialize because, again, they are students. They may not be willing to pay for their own learning. If he had involved the parent, maybe the business will have succeeded. So in thinking about the problem you're solving and its viability, you also have to think about the market. Who are your customers? Who has this problem? Who is willing to pay for the solution to this problem? How large are they, right? The larger the market, the more your chances of success. Of course, there are businesses that are built on niche markets, but those businesses are often expensive to scale, except you have a very laser focused way of finding the people in your niche. But most times, the larger the market, the larger your opportunity for success. Because now you can iterate quickly, you can learn from customers, you can get early buyers, and those early buyers will give you feedback, whether good or bad, and that feedback will help you continue to improve on your offering so that you get better over time. So it's important that you ask yourself those questions. Your reason, the problem you're looking to solve, are people going to pay for this solution? In fact, you want to ask yourself, are they already paying? And I'm sort of stressing the pain aspect because if you're starting your business in Nigeria and most of Africa, you may not have the opportunity to have access to a lot of funding just on the basis of your idea. Most people want to see some level of traction, which means early users, people who have downloaded your app, who have spent some money on your app, even if it's just 10 people, it's enough to convince an early investor that this can go, to a bigger degree. So oftentimes there's a lot of pressure on us as African entrepreneurs to find ways to commercialize your idea as quickly as possible. And that's not something for you to be unhappy about or to do or to fight because some of our counterparts in the US and all seem to get it a lot differently. But we here, there's a lot of pressure in turning your idea to a commercial success. So as a founder, that's also be top of your mind, especially in choosing, do I commit my life or my time to solving this problem, or do I solve this other problem? You have to always think of the size of the market, the commercial viability, how easy it will be for you to create a solution for that problem, and generally your chances of success, if you do solve that problem. That's usually a very big concern. The second thing I would say, now that we are talking about starting a business in 2024, there are a lot of things that has made businesses easy. One that you need to think about is sort of related to the first point, is your business model, which means how will this business run? For instance, there are people whose business model depend on donors, maybe government or agencies or, other people donating to the cause of that business. Some depend on transaction. Say, I'll sell something, people would pay me, and that's how the business would grow. Some depend on subscription. Some depend on what's it called now, adverts or traffic or something. You need to be clear on what model, and you could adopt several models on how exactly am I going to run this business. Is it a business to business? Am I selling my solution to another business, right? For instance, that my friend, he decided to stop the company creating videos for kids, and then started offering that product to video businesses to help them compress the sizes of their videos, and he started making a lot of money. The same technology, but applied to on a B2C, that's business to customer, did not succeed. Whereas he used that same technology and applied it to business, and then he started making a lot more success, right? So you always have to think about your business model. Some businesses are business to government, or business to customer. It's important that you think of who is most who most needs a solution to this problem, and is backed up by the ability, willingness, and capacity to actually pay. That helps you decide what your business model is. For instance, there are some other tutoring companies around the world that operate a different model than we do. What we do is just like Uber. The clients pay us for the lessons. We hold the payments, and then we pay the tutor after the lessons have been delivered. And that goes back to the initial problem I said, that we're trying to ensure that tutors who teach are protected, that they get paid, they are treated well, they have access to training resources to help them get better, and that clients also have the peace of mind of having found a professional. They know that this guy will not just run away with my money or things like that. So in order to achieve that initial vision, we had to be involved in the administration of the lessons, not just, hey, client, tutor, meet yourself, bye-bye, right? Pay yourselves, determine your lesson, do however you like. We just connect you and go. So that's one model. Some people do that, where they just connect the client and the tutor and they leave them to sort themselves out. But if you do that, what that means is we are not protecting the tutors, we're not protecting the client, we're not guaranteeing the quality of the lessons that would happen. So we are essentially just a matchmaking platform. And for us, that wasn't the business model we wanted to adopt. We wanted to be able to provide high quality lessons at affordable prices. We wanted to be able to vet our tutors thoroughly, because that's the promise we give to clients. And when you come to us, the guys on our platform are the best of the best, right? We vet them in their safety, their knowledge base, their teaching ability. We ensure that clients pay up front, because we don't want tutors to come to our platform and after they've taught lessons, they cannot get their money, right? That's a breach of trust. So that initial vision was what determined the model we adopted. So for instance, across the years, I've heard people tell me, hey, use the subscription model, let tutors pay you every month and don't bother about the client's money, let them just deal with the client. But the reason why we will not do that is because of the business model we have chosen to adopt. So when you've thought about the problem you want to solve, what solution you think you can offer the world with your ideas and your talent, the next is to think about what's the model. Models oftentimes are a make or break. You can have a great idea, great solution, but a crappy business model. Just like that, my friend, right? But understanding, because when you're starting a business, it's not a hobby. I mean, it could come from your hobby, but the moment you start getting other people using your product, it's no longer a hobby. If you treat it as a hobby, it will treat you as a hobby, right? You need to treat it as a business, like an actual entity. And doing that means you have to think about how do you increase your upside? How do you actually get it to grow, to expand, to survive, to meet the needs of your customers, make them happy? Because you see yourself doing customer support. You can't get angry because the customer says your product is bad. You have to take all that feedback because you're building a business, right? And so oftentimes you have to think about your business model. So going away from that, particularly in 2024, I think it's easier now to go from idea to product than it was 8 years ago when we started. In fact, how we started was I had the idea. I reached out to my friend who is a technical guy, who is also my co-founder now, and I pitched the idea to him to ask him to join me on this journey. I was working at the time at Deloitte, but then after he agreed to join me, I resigned to go back to work with him full time, working from my mom's house, and it took us about 10 months to build the initial version of our platform. It was just the two of us. I had to learn to write code. I had to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, JS, and also run the business. But I had to learn digital marketing, product development. Again, this was in 2014, 2015, when these things were not popular. Now they're popular, they're everywhere. But back then, you really had to look for those things. In fact, funny story, most of the startup stories we had then were not Nigerian stories. Now you have the likes of Paystack, MoneyPoint, a couple of guys who have shown a good example and have built big, businesses. But back then, we didn't have any, right? So we were reading about guys like Airbnb, Dropbox, what was it called now? There were so many of them, US companies. And in our minds, we thought, when you look at the graph of those guys' revenue, you see them just grow, they grow from like zero, they grow so high and so fast. And we were thinking, by the time we launch now, this is how our graph, our graph would also go, way up. But it took us, 10 months to build the initial version. And when we went live, no single customer, like not even one. And that was a very shocking moment because there were some local factors we did not, consider when looking at Fiverr, Odex, then it was called, but now it's called Upwork. All these platforms that also do like gig economy. In fact, we patterned our platform after them. But then we discovered that Nigerians don't think that way. Nigerians don't want to come to your site and search through various options of people and pick someone. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to just tell you their problems and you provide a solution. They didn't want to look for a solution themselves, either because they're not as maybe technologically savvy, or they don't really trust their own judgment because they don't know these tutors. You, the platform, you're the one who knows them. You vetted them. Why are you giving me options to choose somebody when I'm just reading their profiles? There's the issue of trust in the economy as a whole. People are scared of, kidnappers, stealing, and then so there are a lot of problems stacked up against us, which in the initial version, we were just building after the pattern of the examples we saw abroad that did not have similar challenges to the same degree. And so the first version flopped. And what we did was we started observing our customers, and we noticed that instead of them, we got traffic to the page. They would see the tutors' profiles, their pictures, and we did a really good job to make the UI look good. They'll see their profiles, their description, education, background, and they'll still ask us, is this tutor good? If I hire him, will I be safe? So we started seeing that, okay, it seems that there is a different cultural issue here that we did not factor in our early iteration. So we had to take the entire thing back. Our glorious launch, had to we had to roll it back and start again. And this time, what we did was, you don't see any tutor, just tell us what you want, because that's what they were doing. They were chatting with us instead of hiring the tutor themselves. They'll talk to us, via chat. So we said, rather than even show them any way to hire tutor, let them just talk to us. And we swapped the entire thing, made them talk to us. And that night, we made our first sale, which was, I can't forget, the client's name was Mrs. Amakuroshi. She paid $24,000 from Port Harcourt for a tutor she had not met physically. So what she did was she filled the form, told us what she wanted. We used details from what she wanted, found the perfect tutor for her, sent her the person's profile and the price, and she just transferred $24,000. I remember it was quite, it was like we just won a lottery, in my room that night when we had our first customer. Of course, now we've gone on to make millions, but you usually don't forget the first few people who showed confidence in what you're building. So that leads me to the second thing about when you have your solution, listening to customers is a very timeless, proven way to build your business iteratively to increase your chances of success. In fact, after that event, I became the main customer support staff. I held the phone myself, and I spoke with every single customer. I think our first 1,000 customers must have come through me. In fact, I did not separate my personal phone from my company phone, which was a mistake. So many of the early customers still have my personal number. Some of them are still with us now, 8 years down the line. And they still, if there's any challenge, they still call on me because they have my, number. So listening to your customers is really, really key. Even if you don't have customers there, you have like early users, hearing what they're saying, not just asking them. People do surveys like you send out a survey. Well, surveys are good, But most times you want to put the product in front of the customer and watch what he does with your product. Because in your survey, they'll tell you a lot of things that they think they will do. But when you present the actual product to them, that's where you know what they will actually do. So that's like really, really key. But then also I want to mention that don't spend 10 months, building a product, because the quicker you can get to market, the better. Sometimes now you have what you call the no-code tools. If you don't have the engineering skill yourself and you can't learn it, or you can obviously, but it might take you some time, or you can't get what's it called now? Maybe a technical co-founder or something. You need to get your idea out in the open as quickly as possible. And there are a lot of no-code tools you can use. So, I'm thinking now that if I were to start my business now, I probably wouldn't spend that much time writing code, right? I would quickly patch together some tools and just get it out in the hands of customers. And let's see the kind of traction that I begin to get. How many people are buying? What are the questions they're asking? How do I improve my customer service? So that maybe in the next 3 years, when I've gotten more traction, I can then know exactly what to build. And I have the engineering power. I could maybe, even if I want to outsource it to a company to do for me, I know exactly what to build because I've had a lot of time iterating with tools that are not so cheap, right? Because if you try to hire an engineer now, you probably pay quite a bit of money. If you have that, great. But if you don't, don't let that kill your idea. Look for tools. There are tools that you can do your database, you can do your website, you can, low code, low end tools. Get your business out to the customer as quickly as possible, because even if you spend, like, look at us, we spend 10 months building it. We have to spend an additional 6 months modifying it because what we pushed out in the market was not what the customers wanted. So if we had gotten that feedback, 9 months earlier, we would have built a better product in retrospect. So take note of these tools. Like I said, don't spend too much time building product. In fact, spend more time finding customers than building products, as it were. Because, most times, if you're a techie person, you fall into the possible trap of being excited about what you built. I've built this thing, it's amazing, it works so well. But in the end, the market, the customer is the ultimate determinant of whether that business will succeed or not. So the earlier you find them, the better, right? And it's okay if the product is not so perfect. In fact, it's often said that an imperfect product with customers will always beat a perfect product without customers. Or put in the actual way, an imperfect product with good distribution would always beat a perfect product with poor distribution. Because, people know that the world is not perfect. So they're not expecting your product to be perfect. And most times, if they see the effort you've done to provide this solution to them, they are willing to help you. They're willing to offer their time and resource to sort of further support your cause. And even the entire ecosystem, you see people willing to support you because they think what you're doing is important. But if you spend so much time trying to perfect your product, you lose the opportunity of getting early feedback, and then you find out that what you built is not what the customer is thinking. You have to think of, eventually, I have to build what people want. I have to build a product people love. I have to build a product that they are happy to use. I have to build a product that they will pay for. I have to build a product that they want to talk about. So it always starts with the customer, and then it falls back to product. So do as little. For instance, this company called DoorDash in the US, they've raised millions and millions of dollars. Their first product was a WordPress page. Nothing at the back, just a simple page with a form that when you fill, it sends your order to their email. No backend, just an empty form. So they just created that form and said, hey, in fact, they didn't have the restaurants, right? They just had a form. And if you wanted to order food, just, come to our site, tell us what you want to order, and just send. When you send the order, in fact, they added a payment system so that, they're not running, funny errands on customers that have not paid. So you just go to the form, say what you want. Maybe you pick a meal, maybe burger, milkshakes, you pay $10, and all that is just on the front. Behind the scenes, it was an email sent to their email box. And then somebody got the email. The founder himself ran to the store, bought the burger and the, the milkshake, and ran to the house of the customer to deliver that package. That was the first version of the product. Before they started buying bikes, buying this, before they ended up building technology. So based on top of that sort of basic product, they raised their first $2 million because they had traction. They've proven that people were willing to order meals online. That's what you should be thinking of doing, that you want to prove that your idea, people like it enough and are willing to pay for it. So don't spend too much time building like massive product. Build what you can and get it into the hands of customers, as quickly as possible. Then the next thing I would say is, of course, running your business. Right now, there are some sort of housekeeping that some people maybe don't know about, but I'll just run through. Your business is separate from you, and your businesses are measured in time, which means how long did it take for you to get to where you've gotten to? So let me give you an instance. If you had someone that started a business 1 year ago and today does $1 million, and someone that started 10 years ago and today also does $1 million, I'm sure you would probably tilt towards the first person who started 1 year ago and now is in $1 million, because it gives you the sense that he most likely can grow faster because of how quickly he got to that point. So bearing that in mind, it means that most times when you start a business, you're thinking of the problem and the solution. And oftentimes founders make the mistake of not structuring the business well enough, such that when opportunities come in, they are not as prepared to take advantage of those opportunities. So that's what I refer to as housekeeping. You have to make sure that your business is incorporated. For now, people, you can incorporate in Nigeria, or you can be in Nigeria and incorporate in the US. There's a platform called Norebase, Norebase. Helps you incorporate your business anywhere in the world, right? If you think that the problem you've solved is a global problem, you want to get customers globally, and it's fine. It's okay to solve a local problem that its use case is just for people in a particular region. That's perfectly fine. It's also fine if the problem you solve is a global problem and you want to sort of reach that global market. Make sure your business is incorporated. You have your separate accounts for your own person and the business account, ensuring that you keep your books. Those are things that sometimes they are not exciting, but in my own little experience, I've seen that those things can make or break a business, especially when you grow beyond the point of a few customers. You start getting to 100 customers, 200 customers. If you have not spent some time, structuring like governance, accounting, record keeping, the chances of running into chaos is very, very high. And then you get to spend a lot of money trying to correct all that damage. And also, if you do get to raising funding, which I'll talk about lastly, it's important to show investors that you have a good habit of keeping record. Everything from what you spend on airtime, what you spend on data, any expense that was a business expense has to be recorded and tracked properly. There are tools people use like QuickBooks, there is Zoho Books. There are a couple of accounting softwares, but just ensure that at the point when you're starting your business, you take care of your housekeeping. It's very, very important. The next thing I'll talk about is finding customers. I think this is very, very key because most businesses fail because they could not find enough customers to make them profitable. Sometimes they fail as well because of different things, like maybe mismanagement and they couldn't raise funding, blah, blah, blah. But, if you find, investors will fund you for some time, but customers will fund you for life. So your business only chance of survival is getting enough customers to pay you so that you can fund your business. So the CEO or the founder has to be the chief marketing officer, the chief salesperson, going about and finding users. There have been stories of like the guy who started this company. What was it called now? Salesforce. Yes. I read about how, it's a massive billion-dollar company now. He would go to train stations with his app and just randomly ask people, use this app, try it out, see what will happen. Or even PayPal that had to pay people to use PayPal, right? If you use PayPal, will pay you $10. Although those are different approaches, the aggression and the intensity with which you go and look for customers sometimes can be a survival metric for your startup. In my case, we had to look for customers in every way possible. Our major customers were parents, so it was fairly easier. Churches, places of worship, mosques, schools, online parent forums. I joined as many forums as I could find, because at that stage we didn't have enough money to do like any sort of serious marketing campaign, but we have to make sure that to the best that we can, we included referral system. If you're a customer, we tell you that if you get another customer, you'll get something off, because for us, like I said, we didn't have money, so customers were the only funding we had. So we had to make sure that there was, continuous stream of customers. But now things are a lot easier. You have digital marketing, you have Facebook, Instagram. You shouldn't be doing a business that people don't know about. Don't do that. Don't think that because you've put your business out there, people would come. You have to go and look for them. In fact, now you have to build a personal brand, which means beyond your company, you have to make sure people know about your online presence is strong online. If the things you're talking about, in fact, if you look at my socials, you hardly see me talk about anything else. I talk strictly about my business, right? So that if you come to my timeline, you just know what I'm about. And if that's what you want, you just buy from me. So I'm not online trying to waste time. I'm trying to grab as many customers as I can grab from my friend list, because, you shouldn't just have friends for, having friends' sake. They should be the evangelists for your business. You should be able to incentivize them enough with your passion, your vision, so that they are referring business to you, right? I also had to develop skill in digital marketing. I think that in today's age, if you're starting a business, you cannot escape digital marketing at some level. But sometimes, if you already build a personal brand online, you can leverage that brand to grow your business. The underlying psyche is look for customers as if nothing else matters, right? And that's a number you have to be checking. How many users did I have today? How many people bought my product today? How many bought last week? You need to keep your eyes on that number because that is the most important metric by which you would be examined, by which your business would be judged. You know, how many people use your platform? In fact, how many people use your platform more than once, right? It shows that they liked you enough to use it the second time. In fact, if your business is such that after people use it the first time, they don't come back again, that's a red flag because it means that you must charge them a lot of money that first time, right? If that's the case, that's great. But if they're not paying so much the first time, and then that's all the use case, that's a problem because you may not be able to sustain the operational expense to run that type of business. In fact, I once met someone, I think in the UK, where his business is a fishing boat. I think it's called fishingbook.com or something like that, where people once in a year, most times, they want to go on a fishing adventure. They get on a boat, they go to catch fish, but they only do that once a year. So it was really strange because, my own business, people use us every single month, in fact, sometimes multiple times in a month. But here was this guy whose business was the customer, after they transact with you today, that he's not coming again until the next year. So what they had to do was they charged them a lot. They charged them up to £1,000, $1,000, $1,500 just for one adventure. And then, of course, people got used to paying that much because they know that this is a once in a year thing, right? So that's one case. But if that's not your case, you have to think of how do you retain customers? That brings you to things like customer support. How do I make my customer support, as good as possible? Because people are used, especially in Nigeria or Africa, they're used to bad service. So you have to make sure that you're thinking about your customer support as much as possible. Okay, so the last thing I will talk about, maybe the last two things, team. I think I have a lot to say around team, but I'll just summarize it. The best ideas, you don't need a lot of people early on. If you realize that to start your business, you need to bring in a lot of people, that's already a problem. The fewer the people, the better. It means you have to be brutally honest with yourself as to what skill set you need to develop this business. Make sure that you're very careful about the first set of people you're hiring. Essentially, they must come on board with skills that you don't have. Don't bring people who just complement your skills. Let it be people who are good at something that you're not good at, so that there is a spread of effort and time, and you don't have duplicity of effort. And then bearing in mind that the first set of people would eventually create the culture of your business. So you need people who are hardworking, who are kind, who are who have integrity, who are transparent. Because if they have those qualities, then when you start hiring other people, you would also look for those same qualities in those people. Hire people that you can learn from, who when you converse with them, their passion, excellence, and knowledge is something that inspires you. Those are the kind of people you want to have in your company. And then lastly, build relationships with the ecosystem, with investors and other founders before you need it. I think this is something that is very key, because hardly is there any business that has grown and succeeded largely that did not require support from the ecosystem, investors, other founders, different set of people that are outside of your organization. So as you're building your business, in some ways, attend events where you can find investors. Make sure that they know you and you know them. Think of ways you can be of value to them. Try to get close to founders, because most deals you hear about, maybe someone has raised a certain amount, it was most times introduced by a fellow founder to an investor. So it's best that you're building that relationship before you need it, so that at the point you're looking to raise money, your name is not being heard for the first time, right? Because people invest money in teams that they know, they like, and they believe in. So, and ensure that as you're working on the day-to-day building your business, you're also building the right relationships with people that could be helpful to you in the long run. Yeah, that's all I have to share. And I hope this has been helpful. Happy to take questions or any clarifications you might have. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that, sir. So while you were speaking, a few contributions were going on in the chat. So I'll just read them out. Olivia said, I agree that knowing the why to your product solves part of any problem. Sorry. Because you might be aware of a problem, you may know how to solve the problem, but why should you solve that problem is key. Money isn't and shouldn't be a long-term reason to solve a problem. Thank you so much for that, Olivia. And Hendrik said, an imperfect product with good distribution will always beat a perfect product with poor distribution. Thank you so much for that, Hendrix. Okay, so without wasting so much time, we'll just briefly talk about a particular program organized by Bincom Dev Center. So I'll be sharing my screen shortly. So this will be done before we call on the second speaker. Oh, so sorry. Please, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I really apologize for the sound. I'm really, really sorry for the sound. Okay, so I'll just explain what the video is about. Okay, so the video is talking about Bincom Global Tech Program, which is a program that is being designed for you to launch your tech career globally. you can learn a skill, you can gain experience, you can also gain exposure. So Bincom Global Tech Program is designed for anyone who is looking to gain, learn a skill. Individuals and customized learning paths are designed for you. Mentors and facilitators at every skill level is attached to you. And there are also co-working spaces with internet access for you. If you want to gain experience, there are real life projects that you would be working on and will enable you grow. Internships and tech apprenticeships will be open for you. We'll also help build your resume with clients at every level. For exposure, we have international career packaging and placement options, guided access to international tech ecosystem, and also give you the opportunity to work with global startups and corporate. So if you're interested in our Bincom Global Tech Program, I'll be sharing the link in the chat. So please kindly go through it. And if you're interested, let us know, drop your details, and we'll follow up with you from there. Okay, so I'll be moving on to the second speaker. So we have a very amazing person with us who is an intersectionist who is creating multi-sector brilliance expressed through tech, education, business, and faith. So our second speaker is David Ogunshola. So just a brief bio or a brief introduction. Please let me share my screen. Okay, so David is an intersectionist, creating multi-sector brilliance expressed through tech, education, business, and faith. He is an internationally recognized innovation catalyst driven by a mission to lower the age of innovators in Africa. He is the founder of STEM Academic Nigeria, a coding and startup school for children, teaching computer programming and entrepreneurial skills, and also working to help their students become tech founders before their 16th birthday. He is the author of Early Coding for Kids, African first curriculum-based computer programming textbook for children. David is a STEM coach who trains schools and educators on best practices for raising thinkers and the 21st century innovators through their classrooms. As an educator, he co-founded Brainy Hive Schools, an innovative K-12 school providing world-class, balanced, and future-driven education to middle-income families starting from Uyo, Nigeria. With a background in computer science and close to 15 years of software development experience, David founded and leads Dave's Hoop Inc., a software development and consulting company creating innovative products in edtech, church tech, and enterprise, leveraging technology to empower individuals and organizations to achieve their full potentials. David serves as an advisor to businesses and nonprofits serving on board and strategic committees where he brings strategic insights and solutions to problems and projects. He is driven by a desire to help young people achieve balanced success early in life. David runs multiple layers of coaching and mentoring for young boys and career starters, helping them discover purposes and live a life of maximum impact. So please together, let's all put our hands together as we bring up our second speaker, Mr. David Ogunshola. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Joy. Good afternoon, everybody. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
All right, great.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, and I'm so excited to be here. It's wonderful to listen to the first session, very rich and robust. I mean, it's practically covered the end-to-end of starting a business and growing a business in Nigeria's economy today. And while you read his introduction, I mean, I have known Tutoria. I know Tutoria online, but I'm happy to have finally seen, be in the same room with the founder. And I was excited to hear that it's like we have the same background, He was at Deloitte. I was at Deloitte, so I started my career at Deloitte. So I feel comfortable. I feel in familiar territory. So I mean, thank you so much, and thank you for that fantastic session, Godwin. That was quite insightful, and I hope that you've learned a lot already. So I'm just going to be capping up a few things. Whatever he has said, I wouldn't have to repeat, but my session is just going to be just glossing. So I'll just share my screen and then we get started. Okay, my screen is coming up. So I'm going to be talking briefly on building high impact startups. How do you build businesses that are impactful and that are successful, basically? And I'm also going to be sharing a few tips as you go on this journey. I mean, if you heard what Benson said, what Godwin said, rather, he said, this is a journey. You know when you start, you don't know when it's going to end. You just know that I'm going into this thing, and then you really have no idea how it's going to turn around. So you may do your first iteration and it bounces. You go a second time, it bounces. I have personally had businesses that have bounced. When I say bounce, you build the first iteration, take it to the market, and then the clients were like, I wish it was working the other way around. Okay, don't worry, we're back. And you go back, iterate the second time and come. I mean, one of our products is in like version 4 now, but finally at version 4, I think we're now finally getting product market fit. Finally, when we take you to the client and say, hey, finally, you guys are understanding our problem. And I'm like, what were we doing for all these years? Building version 1, version 2, version 3. So I'm just going to be sharing a few tips, things you should remember along the way. But I'm going to start by asking you a simple question. What's your drive? What's your motivation? You want to launch a startup, you want to build a business, you want to be a founder, you want to be a successful entrepreneur. What is your drive? What is pushing you? There are 2 major classes or types of businesses. We have transactional businesses and transformational businesses. A transactional business is just focused on an exchange of money. Just want to do something that generates money. Your drive is, let us make this dough. Let's make this money. So what are people willing to pay for? Whether it's adding value to their lives that much, whether it is changing anything about society, you don't care. Our own is, as long as we are making money, we're good. But there are also transformational businesses that, yes, they make money, but beyond money, they are actually transforming lives, transforming people, transforming society, transforming families. There's something, I mean, I like to put it this way. You want to run a business that people are paying you and they're telling you, God bless you, on top of your payments. They are paying you and they say, Kai, thank you for doing this. You know, if you didn't do this business, where would we have been? Let me give you a good example. So I run multiple businesses. Thankfully, God has helped me. I've been able to structure my businesses in the same environment. So I almost have like a street where I have like 4 or 5 buildings that run different businesses that we run. So one of the things I did is connected all the buildings together with the same power source so that I'm not paying 5 or 6 NEPA bills. So I've gotten to have a good relationship with the NEPA guys. So one day, I mean, NEPA is PHCN, our electricity company. In case you're not in Nigeria, I won't say NEPA. Or if you are Gen Alpha or Gen Z, you don't know what NEPA is. NEPA is those people here. PHCN, if I don't know, whatever, PHED, Ikeja, whatever that electric company. So this guy used to be the guy who brings our bill to the office. And then one day, he brought his CV, says, I want a job. I say, job, okay. You work for NEPA now. Why are you coming to apply to my company for the same, sir? I want to leave that place. I say, what is it about the place? He says, sir, that's what I said. NEPA pays you more than I can pay you. I know what NEPA pays. I know I'm just, see, this place, leave the packaging. We don't have money like that. We are a very small growing business. He said, I don't mind small money. I just want a place where I can go home in peace. So what do you mean? He said, I mean, I have never gone out on NEPA assignments and anybody is praying for me. It's only costs. So, I mean, I go to court light, they are abusing me. I go to drug bill, they are abusing me. Everywhere I go to is abuse. This is not the kind of work I want. I don't care how much they are paying me. I want peace. I know that was when it clicked on my mind that, wait, so you could actually be doing something and people are paying you money, but they are paying you that money and they are raining curses and insults on you. And that is not what you want for your business. That's not the kind of business you want to run. You want to run a business that people are, I mean, a good example. So I have a platform. I pay every month But this is one subscription I'm happy to pay every month, is my Canva subscription. So I use this application called Canva. I use Canva Pro, and I pay for Canva, and I'm like, this Canva is too cheap. I mean, can these guys charge me more? Because the value I'm getting from Canva is way more than what I'm paying for. So each time I see Canva, I'm like, oh my God, bless these people that started Canva. That is a transformation. So ask yourself, this business, does it make families happier? Does it make people's lives better? Does it make people more comfortable? What value is my business providing beyond just making money? That's the first question. What is your drive? And I believe strongly that business is a tool for transformation. Business is a tool for transforming society, people's life. Whenever people are crying about something, whenever people are complaining about something, whenever people are praying to God about something, I believe that the answer to that prayer is a business. The answer to that problem is a business somewhere. Now, the business you want to start, is it going to be the answer to somebody's prayer? I was talking to my team the other day. So we have this application that we built, it's in EdTech, it's for schools, and it greatly cuts down the amount of time teachers spend doing paperwork. And I was telling my team, guys, look at it this way. Beyond the fact that these schools are paying us, I want you to think of the mother who can close from work early and go home and spend time with her children. The time she spends with her children is a gift that we have given to her by creating an app that saves her time. Think of it from the angle of, how is my business transforming somebody's life? I mean, when you're able to see your startup that way, it changes the passion with which you're able to go at it. It changes the way you go to work. You don't go to work thinking, I've come to work again. I mean, I enter my office, I sit on my table, and I mean, no apologies, I'm a Christian. So whenever I come to my office and I pray, I say, God, this is the table from which you and I change the world. So how are we going to change the world today? That's one prayer I pray in the office. God, how are we changing the world today? What do I need to do? What ideas do you need to give to me that will answer somebody's prayer that I can launch from this office? Think beyond money. How will this startup idea make lives better, make society better, make people to be able to sit down and say, Kai, thank God that somebody thought about this. Truly, if your business is transformational, if your business is doing the right thing, people are going to be waking up every day. You will struggle to collect money from them. That's the truth, because they are happy and say, Mom, and these guys. So you will collect money with joy, and God bless you. That's the foundation I wanted to lay. Now let's dive right in. What are some quick tips that I think you should remember? Godwin has said a lot of things. Fantastic. I don't want to repeat everything he has said, but I'm just going to touch a few things that I picked up on my journey. If you want to build successful businesses, number one, create something new. Don't try to recycle. Don't try to do copy and paste. Think of something new. Choose a problem people haven't solved before, or solve an existing problem in a way that nobody has solved it before, or solve an existing problem for a new audience. There should be something different about your business. Something that when they see you, they say, what took you so long? But if you're just trying to repeat what already exists, you will struggle. Imagine trying to build another Facebook today. Who are you building it for? As in, how are you going to make us leave Facebook? How are you going to make us leave Instagram? How are you going to make us even Thread that Meta started? How is Thread coming along? Because Thread was not an original idea. They're simply trying to it's a clone of Twitter. And I have a Thread account. I am number 40 something million, 20 something million. But I think apart from welcome post, I mean, there's not been any other post again on that platform. Why? Because it is not something new. If you want to be a high impact startup, think of creating something new. That's where innovation comes. And innovation is not necessarily going to mass and bringing an idea. Let me give you the simple definition of innovation. Taking two known things and combining them in a way that has not been done before. Simple. When you can take two existing ideas and bring them together in a unique way, that is innovation. Some years ago, I used to read this innovation magazine, and I can't remember the exact year now, but the particular guy that won the innovation award in Europe, what did he create? This guy created a urinal and a wash hand basin. So he combined, the urinal in the men's bathroom at the airport, that thing that the guys pee on, and a normal wash hand basin. He combined it such that you urinate at the bottom, and as you wash your hand, the water you wash your hand flushes the urine away. So you don't have to urinate, flush, wash your hand, flush. He saved water, saved space. I mean, they just felt this guy is innovative. What did he do? Took two simple ideas. It's in everybody's bathroom. In every airport, there's urinal, there's wash hand basin. 2 separate spaces. So urinal, 3, wash hand basin, 3. That bathroom can serve 3 people at a time. But when this guy combined it, that same bathroom, same space can serve 6 people at a time. That was innovation. Create something new, combine something in a way that has not been done before, or take an existing product and try to tailor it for new people who are not being served by the existing people. So somebody is doing something already, but he has a niche. Take that same thing and create it for another niche. That is innovation. Or simply do it in a way that has not been done. I mean, I created textbooks. I wrote textbooks, and my textbooks are simply called early coding for kids. I mean, I have there like 5 of them. This is what they look like, early coding for kids, 5 different titles. I simply created textbooks that teach computer programming to children from 5 years old. Number 1, are there programming textbooks? Plenty. Python, in fact, in my office, I have Python, JavaScript, all manner of textbook, university level textbook. I study computer science. I learned to code in the university. I run a primary school, and I want to teach my students how to code in my primary school. And I'm asking myself, this book cannot work for my primary school. And I began to look for resources, and I could not find. And I began to go around. I mean, I went country and there was no book. I couldn't find textbook, curriculum based for 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. And I figured the idea of coding is not new. The idea of writing books is not new. But taking books and coding, or taking that 2 things and creating it for a niche that nobody has served. Suddenly now I'm all over the place. They are calling me, I'm here doing workshops, and my books are now, different countries are ordering the book. I'm wondering, what is unique about this thing? It's simply a market that has not been served, that somebody is trying to reach. If you want to create high impact startups, think of creating something new in your space. I mean, I love the guy who said he's creating something, body pass or body sub or something. I mean, fantastic. I haven't seen that before. People are sharing subscription. People are sharing Canva subscription, sharing Netflix subscription here and there. Somebody's finally, so think of something new. Number 2, start simple. And Benson had said, they've made a fantastic, gave this, start simple. Focus on the problems and solutions first before technology. Nobody is impressed by your app. They're impressed about what problem you are solving. And I wrote there, low tech that solves a real problem is greater than high tech that solves no problem. He gave you an example of the guys who were placing food order, but at the back it was just an email. Fill the thing we want, and an email comes, at least they've received your order, and you are paying them, they are delivering your food. Nobody cares. Then have the most sophisticated app that you order food, you cannot order the food. The food is not arriving, it's not coming. Who cares how sophisticated the app is? Start simple. Think of the problem. Focus on the problem. Then technology can come after it. Now I have built curriculum. I have written textbooks. Now I am thinking, how do I convert this textbook into app or technology? But before now, schools are already buying the book. People are using the book physical. I didn't have to build app first. I just wrote the thing, broke it down to children's level. I went to school, studied it and all of that. So think of problems first. Start very, very simple. And this applies, it doesn't matter what industry you are in, any sector you are in, just go simple. Don't try and complicate matters. The client does not care about how your code works. In fact, I used to tell my staff in the office, the truth is, it's only me and you in this office that know how complex our code is. Our code is intelligent. It's only us that know our algorithms. The client does not want to know. I press this button and the paper comes on the printer. That is all. How the paper travels to the printer, the client is not interested. So whether the back end of your app is just a simple form with email, or there is real AI algorithm running at the back end, your client does not care. Keep it simple. Solve the problem first. They pay you for the problem you are solving. Third thing, go for revenue. And I mean, he said the same thing. Go for revenue. From day one, there is, tech in Nigeria today has become so attractive because of the multiple and easy. I mean, today is just, we are hearing, happy to announce, we just raise fund, just raise $2 million, just raise 500K, just raise this. And don't fall into that bubble in the tech space where people are living large on investors' money. People have built products, they have not sold one, and they are living like big boys. So that entire thing of tech bro that people are seeing today, it's a lie. Many tech bro, it's not their money they are spending. They are not making money. They are living. Somebody believes in the idea, give them the money. Please go on Tech Cabal and go and see how many tech companies have shut down this year. The one that hit me the most, I got the news yesterday. That one was a bomb to me. I can't understand. I mean, because I knew these guys, I know what we're doing. I won't mention their name, but just go and think about it. Another tech company was shutting down just yesterday. Just yesterday, another one in Kenya has gone into administration. So 2 news in the last 2 days, big tech. The one that shut down yesterday, this guy's raised $54 million. $54 million. What happened? It's not financially viable yet. And so how do you solve that problem? From day one, start charging money. Don't think of when we build the app, an investor will give us money, then we have 18 months runway, then after like 3 years, we start raising. How do I start making money from day one? You really don't know how long you will bootstrap. This bootstrapping thing, I have been bootstrapping. If I tell you how long my bootstrapping journey is, if there's an award for bootstrapping, I should collect it. I have never raised funds for any of my businesses. Everything I have built has been bootstrapped. Am I hoping to raise funds? Oh, sure. But you see, we keep getting closer to it. But if we are not making money, we'll have died since. All my companies have shut down long ago if we're not making revenue. Right now, every money we spend in any of my businesses, we generate it. And I am excited. So if you want to survive, now with all of the kind of companies shutting down, investors are now holding back a little bit. Don't fall into that. Go for revenue. And the only way to do that is from day one, build a viable business model. Let people pay you for the services. In fact, if they are not willing to pay early, you are not yet sure that you have a good idea. The good idea is what people are willing to pay for. So if they may like you, you have an app. One of my teams built an app, and it was free account. People signed up. When we tried to convert to money, nobody paid. He told you about the guy that people are downloading your app, doing compression. Are they willing to pay for it? The way you validate is go for revenue from day one. Okay, now let's go. I don't know what count I am again, but yeah. The next thing, if you will stay long in this journey, if you will survive in this journey, guys, have integrity. Have integrity. Tell the truth, not from day one, from day zero. I say charge from day one, but tell the truth from day zero. Be open, be honest. You can cut corners, it will not last. You can't deceive all the people all the time. You can deceive some people sometime. So you can deceive them the first time, deceive them the second time. If you are telling a lie, they will know. And when the time comes, it will crash. Don't build MMM. Don't build Ponzi scheme. If you are building an investment company, make it an investment company. Don't promise them 30% returns per annum. Excuse me, where are you getting the money from? If it is 7%, tell them it is 7% too. Don't build anything. You can't build anything worthwhile on lies. Be true to your customers. Be true to your teammates. Be true to your employees. Be true to your investors. Be true to regulators and government. I know we say Nigeria, multiple taxation. Excuse me. Let's be honest. When they bring your tax, they bring all manner of papers to my office. The best idea I say, guys, you know what? Let's negotiate this thing. But they say, but you do this your school. You have up to social number of students. You pay some amount. I say, yes, I have the number of students. I won't lie. I won't falsify my numbers for you. This is how much students I have. This is how much you think I'm generating. That's how much I'm generating. I can show you my books. The truth is, I don't have the kind of money you're asking me for. So let us negotiate. And eventually, now when the internal revenue people want to send, they say, hey, Chief, how far now? We are sending our people. I say, look, campus. We'll become friends. But the truth is, I have nothing to hide. When you start telling lies, when you start painting pictures, that business will not last. The foundation is not going to be solid. What does it mean to have integrity? Make realistic promises. Don't tell a client who say, okay, we want this feature, say it will be ready in 2 weeks. Chairman, madam, if it take you 2 months to add that feature, tell them it's 2 months. Don't tell them 2 weeks to buy it, to just deceive them. Madam, this feature cannot be added this year. I won't lie to you. We were thinking of it, but the truth is, in fact, they will respect you more when you have integrity. So whatever it is, have integrity. Be honest about your limitations. This one, right now, we can't do this. Our team does not have that capability, but we're looking for how to get it done. Talk to your investors, talk to your partners. Be honest about your own, talk yourself, be true to yourself, and don't cut corners. I'm running, I don't want to go beyond time. The next one, be visible. It doesn't matter what product you've built, people have to see it. Don't be a genius winking in the dark. You know what winking is? I'm giving you eye signal, but the room is dark. And I'm twitching at you with my eyes. I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm not talking, I'm tweaking. But when in the dark room, you can't even see me. Many smart guys are winking in the dark. They don't show up. You have fantastic ideas. They're in your brain, they're on your laptop. Some of you, your laptop is like an entire server. When I mean server, the apps we have built, none of them is out. Excuse me. If you want to make this thing work, be visible. Show up with courage, show up with intentionality, show social media. When I go on your wall, what do I see? Am I just seeing cruise and vibes? Hey, we are outside, hey, repping. What are you repping? When I look at your wall, I should be able to tell what you do. If you're an entrepreneur, if you are a founder, if somebody goes on your wall in 10 seconds, they should be able to tell clearly who you are, what value you provide, what you do. They should be willing to work with you. So tell stories, be real, be relatable. I mean, we could give an entire workshop on business storytelling. What kind of stories should you tell? Tell stories that make people relate, connect with you. Then say, hi. Sometimes just even sharing your struggles online, make them feel that you are really human. But the most important thing is be visible. Show up in the right places. So he talked about joining networking meetings, go to places, go for conferences, go for events, show up. Do a business card. When introduce tell them my name is this is what I do. Be confident about what you do. Be visible. Let them see you. There's a way we say it in my office. Genius that nobody knows. Is that one genius? If you like, be the smartest in the room. People will be doing business with the person they can see. So you have the baddest tech, but somebody is in Yaba with Technophone, but he's the one that they are seeing. When they are looking for pro, nobody knows that we are the pro. It is the guy that has Technophone that is uploading content every day that they will see, because you feel this is the guy. Think of any industry, think of any problem. When you think of a problem, somebody comes to your mind. When you think of logistics, somebody comes to your mind. When you think of payments, somebody comes to your mind. When you think of food delivery, somebody comes to your mind. How do those people come to your mind? Because they've been showing up. You've been seeing them over time. When in your own space, when they mention your niche, when they mention your space, do you come to anybody's mind? Does anybody think of you? The only way they will think of you is when you have been constantly showing up and you are visible. I think this will be the last, or maybe second to the last. Okay. This is important. If you are listening to me from Nigeria, okay, now sit very well. You see this economy, you have to survive it. Economy bad, nobody cares. You must be alive. Bonner boy, I said, how do you put it? You guys know it now. Nobody won't hear say you try. Evidence no day, you go explain tire. In this economy, you want result, not sympathy. You don't want an award for the best trier. This guy tried, but the economy was bad, so the thing did not work. He tried. No, that's not what you want. You want to succeed. So leave sympathy, leave the economy. Yes, economy is bad. Forget about it. How do we find a way around it? You must survive. You must succeed. Otherwise, you go to explain. You hear that Nigeria is bad. The Naira is bad. Businesses are closing. People are not there. The government is this. Excuse me. Don't join them. Read what I wrote there. Don't join them. Focus on the bad things and speak negative things. A nation you keep cursing cannot bless you. Me, in this Nigeria, I go blow. It does not matter how bad things get. My businesses will thrive in this country. That is what I keep telling myself. It does not matter how bad the government is. We will survive. We will succeed. In fact, I had told myself, no government will determine the quality of my life in this nation. It does not matter who wins the election. My life can only go one way, up. So that mindset has come. If you like, when I see the new exchange, I just look at it. Okay, it's 1,005, right? We move. No problem. I won't join anybody to be complaining and say, hey, this Naira is killing us. It's not killing me. Am I enjoying it? No. Is it hard? Yes, it's hard. But is it killing me? It's not killing me. Your power, your words have the power to speak life. So speak life to your business. Don't say, businesses are dying. My business will soon die. Excuse me. My business will not die. My business will survive. My business will succeed. I will thrive. In this economy, we will not owe salaries. We will pay people. Those are the kind of things. Survive the economy. And then when you start speaking that way, it must not end with talk. Now you have to start thinking, so what do we do? How do we survive this bad economy? And you can put the bad, it's not a fact. Economy that is bad. So don't paint it and say it's not bad. But say, how do we survive this economy? Yes, things are bad. What do we do? You will always find a way. They say, if you don't want to do something, you'll find an excuse. If you want to get it done, you'll find a way. In this economy, people are finding ways. People are doing things. Businesses are diversifying. Entire companies are finding side hustles. So this is our primary mission. We are building this thing. But say this one is still far. So while we are doing this, let's have a corporate side hustle that brings in small cash while we focus on the mission. Those are ways of surviving the economy. I'm not saying get distracted, but if your focus will mean shutting down the business because there's no revenue, okay, get distracted to stay alive. If distraction will keep you alive, you need that distraction. Find a way to stay alive. You just have to survive this bad economy. And then last, okay, I've lost my count, but I think I have like 2 more. Think scalability. Once you've validated your problem and solution, now think, how do we go up? How do we grow? How do we scale? That is where magic happens. Mr. Godwin could teach one child a lesson. He can teach 2 children a lesson. But scalability is when he sits down and says, okay, how can I be responsible for 1,000 lessons, 10,000 lessons happening, home tutoring happening? That is scalability. And the core question of scalability is this: what can you do to get more customers without increasing your expenses? So I run a coding and startup school for kids, for example, and I have kids from different countries signing up. But when they sign up, I have teachers. They sign up, a teacher must be assigned to them. It means that for every child, I must have additional teachers. That is growth. That is not scale. If I have 10 students and I must have 10 teachers, or 2 teachers for every 10 students, when I have 100 students, I must have 20 teachers, all of those things, I need to be asking myself, what do I need to do such that my cost of acquiring new customer is 0? Meaning, a new customer comes on board without any additional staff, no additional cost, I can collect that customer's money. That's what Flutterwave is doing, for example. A new business joins Flutterwave today. They're not employing new person because of you. 10 companies can sign up to Flutterwave today, and nothing is changing. They have figured out the hack for scaling. So ask yourself, if we are still running a manual process, yes, I said start simple. Simple process solves the problem, but simplicity does not scale. It's technology that scales. So start simple, but don't stay simple. Now think of scalability. How do we convert our simplicity to a point where it can scale? How do we serve more people? Because if you want to stay small, solve small problems, or solve problems for small people. If you want to be big, solve big problems or solve problems for many people. So think, how do we solve for many people? And then, yeah, this is my last now. Get all the help you can get, guys. There's no self-made man or woman anywhere. That macho you are trying to form that say, we can do it on our own. Please, when you need help, ask. Be willing. That's why you should network. Be part of people. When you get stuck, you have people you can call. There are many times I need to do something. Recently, I need to create a 3D model of something. We had this idea, trying to think of something really groundbreaking. Want to go and look for partners, but I can't go to partners with English. I need something visual. I need to design a model that these people can see. But I don't have money to go and build model. What did I do? Leverage my relationships. Started calling my friends. I have architects. I have people that run design companies. Guys, what will it? And everybody have shared with like, oh wow, because when they needed help, I was willing to provide help. Now that I need help, people are willing to help me. Nobody is self-made. We rise by helping each other out. That's how we move in this thing. We help people. So be willing to help. Ask for help when you need help. When people ask for help, be willing to give help. And be humble enough to receive help. When the thing don't hook you, say don't hook you. If it is your parents, if you are still at that level, your parents can support you. No form, your mother is asking you, how are you? Have you eaten? It's okay to be. I understand that level of you don't want to be a burden. But see, when the thing hook you, be humble enough to receive help. There was a time when we're starting, I just got married, my wife and I, none of us had a job. We're thinking, let's go start our businesses, blah, 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 blah. We had our first baby. We could not afford a car. We're flying, drinking care. When there's rain, you are coming from church and umbrella. And I think one day, someone came over, and my dad came to visit. I saw how we're moving. I said, and you are busy forming as if everything is okay for you. What does it take to get you a car? How much do you need? How much do you have? I'm like, how much do I have? And at that point, I wanted to feel, how can my father buy me a car? How can my father? But you see, I just realized, wait, this may not be the time to form big boy. If God is telling this man to support me to help me get my first car, I think I should be humble enough that is my father. He's still my father. I don't have another father apart from the father in heaven. And we got talking. I said, okay, you know what? Send me how much you have, and I'm going to help you. And somehow, that's how we got our first car. Today, I'm proud. Of course, right now, I have gone on and on. In fact, the things I have done for my parents after that is way more than buying a car. But you see, at the point when I needed help, I received help. Get all the help you can. And when I talk about this, when it comes to funding, grants, any support you can get. They are doing grant, apply for grants. Any free money is good, you need it. Don't be proud. They say, how much are they giving? It's just, they are just giving 500,000 naira. Excuse me, you need 500,000 naira. If you can get it, get it. Tunelu is doing grant. CBN is doing grant. State government are doing grant. Excuse me. You need every help you can get it. Be wise, be humble. And I believe that with these few tips, you can go ahead and you can create fantastic, magical, and transformational businesses. I hope that these few points have been helpful and that they're going to be valuable for you on your journey as you go on. My name is David Ogunshola. I run a company called Early Founders Labs. I run a school called Brainy Hive Schools, and I run a software company called the Webmasters. My website is just my name, davidogunshola.com. So feel free to connect with me online, and I'll be happy to share, in any way that we can help. Like we said, be willing to ask for help. If you ask me for help, I will give you help, because as I have been receiving help, I have been helped, marvelously helped by people. So I'll be happy to help in any way that I can. Thank you, Bincom, for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted at all. God bless you. And I hope that you go out there and build successful, magical businesses. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. This has really been an impactful session. I have my jotter filled with tips and notes I was taking down, and I'm sure everyone was doing the same thing. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We've had the privilege of hearing from two outstanding speakers with great presentations. We heard from Mr. Godwin Benson, and we just heard from Mr. David Ogunshola. And I'm sure that you agree with me that this session has given us so much insight, and we are a lot more enlightened than we came. So now it's time to open the floor for questions. So please feel free to raise your hand. Submit your questions via the chat. And we also have people who are joining us from YouTube, because this session is being live streamed. So there are some questions there. I'll also be asking those questions here. So if you have any question, do well to raise your hand, or you can use the chat, and we'll try as much as we can to go through or give answers to as many questions as possible. So I'd like us to take a moment to anticipate these questions. I would rather start with the one that came from the few from YouTube. Okay, so I'll start with this, and I think this goes to Mr. Benson, Mr. Godwin Benson. He Tech Gigas is asking if you have any recommendation for no-code tools that one can use.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah, so I think you just need to Google, just type no-code tools online. There are so many of them. It depends on what you're trying to build. You know, you may use WordPress. You may use there's one called Bubble, Bubble. There are quite a lot of them. Really, just Google no-code tools online and look through them. Depending on what you want to build, you choose the one that works best for you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I'm sure that has answered the question. So someone else is asking, in starting a business, what setbacks should I anticipate, and what are the ways that... Okay, I think Mr. David, you might want to...
Sorry, you froze. I didn't get the question. Is it that you or me, or one of us froze?
I can't hear you.
Okay, so the question is, in starting a business, what setbacks should I anticipate, and what are the ways that this setback can be mitigated?
Okay. Setbacks, there are many. Well, I don't think you should go about anticipating setbacks. You should just go out there and be willing to survive any setback that comes. But there could be many. Setback will come from team. Maybe you have built you've planned with a technical associate. Maybe you have a team member that you have planned, okay, we're going to build this thing together. I'm doing the front end, you're doing the back end. and then small thing, person gets a job in Amazon, jackpots and disappears. That's a setback. How do you survive it? By getting another person or learning the skill. So there can't be a blanket answer, because every setback has a different way to respond to it. And every setback has different ways to respond to it. So think of setbacks from skill or shortage of skill or lack of skill or people that leave the team. Think of setbacks of customers not adopting your product early enough. You have planned that once we finish this app like this, we're going to be charging 10K per month, and we're going to have like 1,000 users, and that's like 10 million per month. And then 12 months has passed, it is 3 users. How do you survive that? So it's each of those, you have to find ways. So just anticipate anything, but have the grit, have the determination that whatever comes, I will survive it. Have mentors. This is where mentors help, because sometimes the problem that you are trying to solve, that you are having, a mentor has had that same setback and has survived and can tell you, no, this is what to do, that's what to do. So with the right mentorship, with the right association, with the right friendships and networks, you can actually survive almost anything. So yeah, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, find people to go with. So find a mentor who has gone ahead of you, and they're going to help you with any setback that comes. Hi, did you hear me? Uh-oh. Hi, Joy, can you still hear me?
Back now.
Yeah. Yeah, we had you. I think she was the one that had network issue.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you very much. It was great.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer, Mr. David. So there are more questions here, and Joseph Emmanuel is asking 2 questions actually. So you can take one of the questions while Mr. David takes the other. So the first question is, would you like to share your experience on your early stage marketing strategy?
Okay, I think that's for me, right? Yes, so at the early stages, the first thing we did was we had to first of all try to get tutors on board. I joined a lot of Facebook groups at that time. Of course, I don't recommend that now, but that was what we did back then because we didn't have money. So on those kind of teacher-focused groups, we would post about, hey, is it a new opportunity? If you want to make money as a teacher, click here to sign up. And I was in so many of them. So we had a lot of teachers coming that way. We did the same thing for parents as well. But then I quickly realized that was not sustainable because it took so much of my time. So what we did differently was we started using social media, Facebook and Instagram adverts. I think it was just Facebook more like. So I had to learn how to run ads on Facebook. They are very cheap, and you can target people based on what you're selling. So, and I think that was most effective because our product is consumed online. So we needed people to meet with us online, not offline. So although of course we got people offline as well, but we had to drive the offline audience towards the online platform. So using Facebook was helpful. We got a lot of customers in Lagos, in Abuja, Port Harcourt. And then for every customer we got, we gave them 10% bonus if they referred someone, 10% discount if they referred somebody else to use our platform. We told that to every customer. So that meant that, with each customer we get, they're incentivized to bring someone else. So that also helped us. We also worked on our SEO. SEO is, if your business is online, you can get customers when they search on Google. So we noticed that there were quite a number of people searching for private lesson teachers in Lagos, math teacher in Lekki, math teacher in Ikeja, something like that. We wanted to ensure that whenever you search for those keywords, that our platform would be one of the suggested results. So we got customers for free, right? So that's one of the early things we did. And I think lastly was we went offline as well. We printed flyers and went to churches, schools. When parents come to pick their kids from schools, we were there giving them flyers. Churches on top of their cars, you know, as they were coming out, we were giving it to parents. We went to malls, you know, ShopRite Mall in Ikeja, the one in Surulere. We just spread the flyers as wherever we could. You know, we also engaged a few people to help us in sharing those flyers. And I think that got us the initial set of customers that we got. And that's how sort of we kick-started our growth. I hope that answers the question.
Very well, sir. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so Mr. David, the second question here is, can you list any early seed funding platforms that, okay, I think that's for Mr. Godwin rather.
Okay.
Can you,
Yeah,
can
sure.
you list any early seed funding platform?
Yes, I think what Mr. David said, and David, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. I think you touched on, it was obvious that you have a lot of experience, and I hope that everyone, you know, that was listening grabbed as much as you could. The first is in fact, not even the first, the funding opportunity you should all be chasing is grant. That thing can help your business. I mean, we received a lot of grant. In fact, I still just recently got another grant this week of £100,000. So £100,000, yes. So no matter how big, nobody is bigger than free money. Like, I mean, we are big. Like we do millions of transactions every single day, but I still saw the opportunity to get 100,000 euros, actually, not pounds, and I applied for it, and I've gotten it. Some weeks ago, we got another one for $25,000. I chased it, I got it. So, how you should always be looking for grant. I remember at our early stages, I searched for all the websites that have grant opportunities, and I can tell you some. Some are called the opportunities for Africans.com, opportunities for youth, grants for youth, or just even what I used to do then was every day I had an alarm set on my phone at 6:30 p.m. from 6:30 to 7:30 every day. I was looking for grants, you know. So once the alarm just blows, it's time to look for grants. I leave whatever I'm doing, go on Google and search education grants for, because I feel I'm in EdTech. There are a lot of funding that goes in the EdTech direction that is free. I shouldn't be wasting time. You know, I was looking for as many as I could. So that's something you should be doing, especially if your business is transformational, like David said. There are many people who want to fund you. In fact, if you're a female founder, there are even many more opportunities directed at you. So please be looking for grants. You know, I don't know all the websites. I just keep searching every single day, every week. The process of applying is quite long for some of them, but in applying for those grants, it helps you articulate your business better. It helps you understand your numbers more. It helps you narrate your impact better. So that's one thing you should be doing. In terms of funding, like investment, usually investments happen through relationships. Usually, at the early stages, you can get money from your parents, from your friends, from your co-founder, your partners, or even from people who know you, believe in you, and believe in what you're trying to do, and they want to contribute. Beyond that stage, you have access to people like Bincom or other platforms that nurture entrepreneurs and give you access to resources, tools, investors, and connections that can give you that early traction. Then beyond that stage, it's mostly relationship, right? Where you have like angel investors, VCs, they invest through people they know. So as much as possible, getting, like, if for instance, I know what you're working on and I think it's impressive and I get to know you to some extent, I can link you with people I know who are looking for opportunities similar to what you are doing, and you can have a conversation with them. But the thing with investors is, if an investor is coming in, he's not coming in to give you money. Like what David was saying, he doesn't want to enrich your life, right? He's bringing in money so that he will make money out of your business. So he's a businessman. He's not coming to fund you. That's why grant helps you, so that you don't, because there are days where you won't have money, like you won't have money in your pocket. Most times, the business will be funded by your personal income. And there might be those days when your personal income is net negative, especially if you're bootstrapping. So grant helps you take off that pressure. You can pay yourself a salary, your business can still thrive. So as much as possible, if you're still very early, don't look towards investors yet, because like I said, they are not your friends. They are not coming in to chat with you or sit down and discuss with you. They are coming to put in money so that they can make money out of it. But if you can get grants, family and friends and all that, you don't get the pressure of the VC, but then you still have enough room to grow your business till you get to that point. So I hope that's helpful.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that, sir. I really appreciate the response. Okay, so we have another question here in the chat, and then one on YouTube again, which I'll still read. But before then, let's go through this one. It was asked by Jackson, and his question is: how do you get your staff and colleagues interested and see the vision like you? Any of you can take the answer. Mr. David, would you like to answer this?
Okay, let me answer that first question, because yes, the only way is by, you just have to keep saying it. So there's a particular aspect of our business, what we do with STEM education and what we do with children, for example. Imagine that we are originally a software company. Everybody comes to join us as a software engineer at some point, whether front, back, at whatever point. How do we eventually convert everybody who comes to write code to become a teacher teaching 6-7-year-olds? That vision, I caught it. I keep saying it. In fact, right now in my office, there's something they say. When we're having a meeting, they'll say, don't enter that side, because once you enter that side, you can talk for 1 hour. We have said it. I'm so passionate about, if I start talking about children and coding now, I will convert almost all of you here. So if you yourself as the founder or business owner is not passionate about it, is not convinced about it, you can't get people interested to see the vision. So you must see the vision clearly, and you have to keep saying it. The mistake you make is think that I've said it once, they understand it. I lie. When you say it 10 times, they just started hearing it. In fact, when they start complaining that you have said it too much, then they just started understanding it. So keep saying it, make it very clear, paint pictures, understand that people are different. Some people understand with words, some understand with pictures, some understand with stories. Find different ways, communication of a vision. That's why you are the leader. That's what stands. So how do you get your staff and colleagues to be interested in a vision like you? Just communicate it creatively, passionately, wholeheartedly, continuously. That is it. There's no other magic around it.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, sir. So there's 2 more to go. I think you might just want to answer these 2 here. It's still the same person asking, and he's asking, could you give like 2 examples of the issues you had earlier on when you started?
Okay, then let me also return on what are the most pressing issues you are currently facing in your business, and how are you going to solve this? Okay, so it's going to be different from, because I have different businesses. I have a school, I have a tech business, I have an ed tech business. So the issues are very different. I can give you issues from each different ones, but maybe because this is more like a tech space, so let me try and limit them to the tech spaces. Examples you have when we started. Number one, there was a time I had great ideas that I could not fund and I could not build. Let me give you a very good example. So right now, these right here are textbooks for children, early coding for kids, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. When I had these ideas and I began to write the lessons, I was looking for an illustrator who can illustrate and communicate these ideas in a way children can understand. I mean, I want to teach children how to write algorithms, how to do computational thinking, how to problem solve for children. I had the ideas. I needed to communicate it. My sister, my people, I looked for illustrator up and down. I will put out on social media, any illustrator, I have a job for you. My DM will be full. I will send them sample lessons. See one sample lesson. Give me a sample of your work. When they see the lesson, they say, no, it's not this kind of illustration I do. I thought it was their office $1,000. Just this. Oh, sorry, I think I got kicked out. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so simple, just to answer the question. So one was that exact problem of where do I get money to even bring the idea to life? How did I solve the problem? Can I shock you? I designed the books myself. That was how I solved that problem. I simply told myself, this design, I think I know this thing small. If I cut down 3 hours of my sleep every night, in 6 months, I will have covered significant ground. And I just started reducing my sleep and I was illustrating my books by myself. One good example. What problems do you keep facing? For example, right now, let me tell you one good problem we are facing. We have opportunities to expand, but expanding our services is stretching us significantly. How do we do that? Sometimes you have to just think out of the box. What can we do? Stretch technology, stretch everything. So the exact stories might differ from case to case. We had a situation, we had a cyber attack on one of our servers, some data was lost, and we had to lose some amount of imagine a client app losing some weeks of transaction data. How do you solve it? These are realities that no textbook prepares you for. I had to lead from the front. I told my guys, you know what? We're going to solve this problem. We're going to survive this. But in this case, no delegation. I'm the product manager. I'm the customer support. I was the one at the front going to every client, explain to them, this is what happened. This is the implication of that. This is what we're going to do. This is how we recover your data. And I had to be involved at every point. So challenges are just there. You will have issues of staff. I had one of my very good, fantastic staff who was a very pivotal person. And suddenly, a company offered him a job, paying him 4 times what we're paying him. 4 times salary. How do I even compete with that? I don't have the money. Do you understand? If it was double, I could say, okay, you know what? Let me meet you halfway or something like 4 times. I had to let him go. I'm like, bros, even me, if I'm the one, I will have been on my way since. Just be going. So I had to start. The journey is just, you keep going in and out, but you just tell yourself, I will be gritty. I will not give up on this journey. Whatever the challenge, I will survive it. I think that's what I want to say to whoever is asking that question. The challenges will differ, but tell yourself, whatever happens, I'll solve it. And then we keep moving.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So the final question on his end is, what are the most pressing issues you are currently facing in your business?
Well, I think I already touched on that in the answer. I think I touched on that briefly.
Okay. So I hope, Jackson, this has answered your question. So if you have more questions, please do help to drop it in the chat. Okay, so from one of the persons live streaming or joining us from YouTube, I think this question is for Mr. Godwin. He's asking, what about giving free services in the early days for friends and families? My startup is also into educational rehabilitation, edtech. You know, you said we should charge from the beginning. Or I think it's open for both Mr. Godwin and Mr. David. Is it
I
okay to
think
give free services, yes, to family and friends when starting at the beginning? Talked about charging them from beginning.
well, I can speak to that briefly, and I'm sure David might have something to add. My advice is no. Except your business is set up as a non-for-profit, or you have a different vehicle that drives revenue, and there is another vehicle that is free. That's fine. But if your core product is supposed to be a revenue driver, why are you giving it for free? So there's something about free, and I think people need to understand that free thing has been misunderstood. One, if you give things for free, you invite people that expect to keep getting things for free. And two, you've not nurtured or qualified that at some point they will be willing to even pay at all for the service. Three, you've not vetted that they even value the service that you're trying to give them. So I give an example. There was a time we did a free class. We have this sort of physical classes. We wanted to open a new center in Aja. We said the class would be free, but pre-registered. So we had a class of 50. 50 people registered, quick to register online. Then we closed the registration. On the day of the class, only 4 people came out of 50 that registered because it was a free class, right? And then we scrapped that. We then put the same class and asked people to pay 40K. We still had 50 people registered, and then 35 people came because they paid. So when you look at it that way, you realize that it's actually better for you and the customer to charge them. Because if they pay, then one, you've validated that they think what you're offering is valuable. Two, is that the people in that classroom, those 35 people who eventually came, at least you know they have money in their pockets. In case you want to sell something else to them that might cost 100K, you might see 10 of them that will pay because they paid to get here. And in a business, you don't just think of making the sale once. You want to make, once somebody has bought from you the first time, you want to be able to sell to that person over and over and over and over again. So you want to vet that at the very least, this person has money. Because when you do a free program, a free service, people use it. It doesn't mean that they are going to pay or they've even thought about spending money at all. So it's all, like I always say, start the way you want to continue. Don't start something that you won't be able to continue. Start what you can continue. Start charging from day one, whether it's family, friends, colleague. You can give a discount. You can say, in fact, what we do now, if somebody asks us for this discount, we tell them, bring somebody else. We'll give you 2 of you discount. You know what that means? If a product is 100K, we tell you we'll give you 10% if you bring someone else. So the person goes and brings the second person. So instead of making 100K, now we've made 180K because he pays 90, the second person pays 90. We made extra 80,000 without having to incur marketing costs. So I completely do not like free services. If it's a software that you maybe want to give them a free trial, after that they convert, it's still, even that doesn't still work. You need to be funded by a lot, you need like investments to keep your business running, because you may have 1 million users, all of them are free. All of them are free, and maybe only 500 are paying. That will not add up, because the cost of every customer, the cost of your server, the cost of your hosting will just keep rising, and then only few of them are paying. It's better if you had 5,000 customers and 3,000 are paying. You make way more money than someone that has 1 million and only few are paying. So my advice is, charge, if your big business is revenue driven, and I think most young people should be doing revenue-driven businesses. There's nothing wrong in doing, NGO, not for profit. If that's what you're passionate about, great. But if you're set up for revenue, make sure every user is paying you, because not every customer is your customer. Your customer is the one who is willing to pay you for this service you're rendering. So that would be my advice.
All right, so Mr. David, you have something to share on that as well.
No, I think Mr. Godwin killed it. I think he just killed it. The principle I'll just add is, if it's costing you money, you can't give it away for free. If it's costing you money. So periodically, I used to run these master classes once in a while. So when I do it, what I do to my own siblings or my family, I tell them, okay, this is a class I'm teaching. It's already online. So I tell myself rather, whether you people come or not, I will still run it. Those who are paying are going to pay. So I'm giving it open to you guys, because I know you need this thing I'm going to teach. However, it cannot be free, but I won't tell you the price to pay. This is what I do for my own brothers or my own siblings. I say, look, you will attend this class. You must pay something. You set the price. Put how much you value on it. If you don't pay, I won't put you in the class, but I won't charge you what I'm charging outside. I give you the liberty to set your price. To my surprise, some of my siblings pay full price to attend, but everybody I've ever given free access to any of my master classes did not attend the master class full time. They will come the first day, they won't see them second day. Nobody I've given free access to any training like that was serious. The people that pay money, they pay attention. A person that does not pay money does not pay attention. So free things does not work. Just take it, as in just know it upfront. So I think Mr. Godwin killed it. Free things don't work. You will have free trial. They go come, they will sign up. The day you put price, they are left. So no, don't. Except if you are looking for testimonial by force. You want somebody, let him tell you that somebody has used this app and I can video the person. So in exchange for a video, say, okay, you know what? I will give you this thing to use for free for this period of time in exchange for a video review. That is an exchange. It's no longer free. There's an exchange going on here. So, okay, you know what? Use our service. We won't charge you, but you will do a video telling the world how nice and good it is. And then we'll now use that video to go and now get other customers. It wasn't free, actually. It sounded free, but there was an exchange. Something has gone wrong, but free, totally free. Leave it. You know, they work.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. David. Thank you so much for that. I mean, that has really answered the question. Mr. Godwin also did gave us a very clear answer on that, and you just summed everything up at once. Okay, so Mr. Godwin, there's a question here that says, how can startup leverage the power of storytelling and brand narrative to create authenticity and resonate with their target audience?
So storytelling and branding is very powerful. Like David was saying when he presented, that when you think of something, a problem, there's a name that comes to your mind, either a name of a person or a name of a business. And that's because they've told a certain story long enough to the point where your mind has associated that problem to their solution, right? So storytelling is something that every business ought to be doing. You take the best parts of what, you could take any angle, the best parts of what you do, your process, your team, your value, your solution, anything that is special or unique about what you've done. It could also even be your story, right? How you came to being. Because storytelling is you want to find people who believe in the same things you believe in. Like if David is speaking about his story, he's probably going to be telling us about what he believes about the place of learning to code and its impact on a young child. And don't think that he's trying to say that to change your mind. He's going to say that so that if you also believe the same thing, it will resonate with you naturally. He's not going to need to talk too much, because think of every parent, somewhere in their mind, they are seeing all this tech thing happen. And not many of them can participate because, it has passed their time. But they are worried, or maybe it hasn't passed their time, but it's not that easy for them to participate. So, but they're all thinking about my child. It is in his own time. They see their child playing with tablet, with phone, and they are all worried about, I don't want him just playing on his phone or just, playing games, but they cannot articulate what they want the child to do with technology because they don't know. So when they hear from maybe a video from David's company, talking about what tech can do with your child, what that is doing is it is bringing out the questions they've had and making them say, yes, this is what I've been thinking about. And that's what makes them pick their phone, call the number, go to the website, go to the office address, because what you've said resonates with what they believe. And once you can have that marriage, because business is not for everybody. Not everybody would resonate with that. As great as the solution is, not everybody would align with it. So what you're trying to do with storytelling is to find people with similar beliefs, similar ideologies, and what you're saying resonates with them. Naturally, they gravitate towards your business. So you should use every means. If it's social media, know how to use Canva. I think every founder must know how to use Canva. Everybody, make sure you can create simple graphics to sell your business. Know how to write. Know how to tell a story from a moving perspective. Don't just say, as a company, we sell this. What is the heart of your business? Why did you start? Like the first thing, we both said the same thing. Why are you doing this? That why is what people would believe about you. And I'll close with this small example. We did one advert in my company where I just told my own story as someone who used to struggle, academically. I got tutelage from my grandmother, and I went on to get a first class and got this sort of amazing academic result. I just told that story and said, hey, I'm the founder of Tuteria. I've now built a similar platform so that many kids like me who used to struggle can have access to the help they need to get to the next stage. And that till date, that is the highest performing advert from our company. Because when parents saw that, they were like, hey, I know that I need to be more involved with my child, but I don't have the time. Okay, let me call on to Tuteria. And then when they came and they are speaking to my staff, they are excited that I read about your CEO story. It was very, very nice. I like him. The guy is hardworking. The story made them, even though they've not bought from us, they already feel like they're part of the family. So storytelling is important, and every company should be doing it. The founder has to set the pace. When you can afford to get like a brand storytelling copywriter person, great. But that's something you must keep doing because it helps you get customers who are enthusiastic about your solution. Like David said, they will pay you and keep praying for you. That is what you want in your business. In fact, I remember times when the customer will call us, and in fact, we've had customers who, after the child's result, they brought bag of rice, they brought Milo, bread to the office to come and give to us. It was funny because the service to them was not free. They were paying 80,000, 100,000, but they still brought gifts. They'll travel abroad, they'll buy, perfume and bring to us. That's because you told a story that they bought it, they believed in it, you delivered on the service, and now they're excited to tell everybody about what you've done. So that should be something that every business, it just gives you customers for free. So you should definitely leverage storytelling.
Thank you so much for that. I think storytelling is very, very key once you intend to grow your business. So it's a very essential skill that everyone should have. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Godwin. Okay, so the next question we have will go to Mr. David. He talked about security in his startup where they lost some sensitive data. So, sir, the question is, how can startup ensure cybersecurity and protect sensitive data from potential threats in an increasingly digitized world?
Okay, so this is something that I'm just coming out from. The thing with cybersecurity and cyber threats is you hear these things all the time, but you believe it cannot happen to you. You just believe that, no, I have my game where we are sorted out until it happens. And now realize that, oh, these guys, the way you are thinking of innovating every day for your business, somebody's innovating to jeopardize data all over the world. Say data is the new oil. So whoever captures data has really captured something. Ransomware, now they kidnap your data. In very simple terms, I'm going to say something that most people, you've heard this word before, but you probably have never taken it seriously. Most people don't take it seriously. It's called a disaster recovery plan. If you don't have such for your business or your startup, please, after today, go and Google what disaster recovery planning is and start thinking, how do I create a disaster recovery plan? Because sometimes when something is going to happen, it may not be by any fault of yours. It may not be because of your mistake. It may just be something you are hosted on a server and that server was attacked and the thing, you're just a victim. Nobody wants to hear that you were just a victim. Oga, where is our data? What has happened to all our transactions, all of that. So a disaster recovery plan, not just for data loss, but there are many ways data could get breached. So you have an organization and there's one person who has the password to all your servers and all your digital assets. And that person, he may not resign. Okay, the person may resign one day and say, maybe something happens and disappear and say, I'm gone. I'm not doing again. And that person has kidnapped all your digital assets, or that person just goes change all the passwords overnight and has gone. What do you do? It could be something bad. Somebody, have you heard of a situation where somebody actually dies and that person is the custodian of all the digital assets of an organization? So the simple answer to that is that thing called disaster recovery planning. I think you should just go and Google it, find out what are my digital assets? How do I plan for disaster? How do I recover in the case of disaster? The first part of any disaster recovery planning is protection, data protection. How do I protect across different layers? So how do I ensure there's a backup? But that backup, what is that? It's only one backup. Is there a second layer of backup? After our own issue with the security, we had to go and create new layers of backup. So we now have like 4 different layers. We're backing up on the server, backing up on the third party. We built our own security script that backs up to a third party database, because we figured out that, look, this thing is not a joke anymore. It can really, really, really be messy. If you're not an expert in that space, you might need to talk to a consultant, to an expert to say, look, I want you to look at, so that person will ask you questions, audit your organization, and check out what are the areas of threats in terms of your data and your cybersecurity, and can recommend and can advise. It may cost you some money to put in that in place and get a consultant, but I advise you that money is money worth spending if you have sensitive data. When I say sensitive data, it doesn't have to be private data, customer data, transactional data, records of anything, whatever it is. I think you should invest in data recovery and protection. Right now, we have had to go and study that topic very well in my company. Right now, I think we are becoming like consultants. Now we just say, there's problem there or there's problem there, because we've actually been victims once. And thankfully, we were able to bounce back due to a few plans processes we have put in place before, but we realized it could have been better. We could have been immune totally, no matter how bad it happened, if we had put in the right structures in place. So now we've put the right structures in place, and it's an evolving space. As new threats keep being developed, you need to keep on reacting to it and say, okay, what do we do? Are we protected from this threat? Are we protected from all of these possible attacks? So just go and Google the word DRP, Disaster Recovery Planning, and you'll find a lot of information there.
All right, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. That's really answered the question. All right, so we'll also do our research on it too, so we are more informed. Okay, so Mr. Godwin, the last question here for you is, what are the most effective strategies for startups to build strategic partnership and collaboration within their industry?
Well, I think this differs from industry to industry. I think the very first thing as a young company is, like David said, you need to be visible. You need to be where the people you want to be are. For instance, for me, I often say that there are 3 places I want to find myself. 1, places where I can impact on other people just like this. 2, where I could meet people who can mentor me or help me or support me. That's like investors or founders or things like mentors. And 3, places where I can meet customers, where I can make sales. Anything outside of those 3, I don't want to lend myself to those places. So the first thing is being visible, and this is both offline and online. So offline means, if you are in maybe the cybersecurity space, are there cybersecurity events, networking, or things that people in that industry where they converge? You want to try to be there, even if you have to pay something to be there. Try to be there, and don't just hang around. Try to have conversations, even if it's with one person. You don't need to talk to everybody. Just make sure that you're not the new kid in the block, right? Online is even easier. If the people you want to meet, they tweet about stuff, reply, comment, share your ideas. Let them start getting used to seeing your name, right? Send them a connection request. For instance, I've just sent a request to David. He has accepted it. And if I have things to say, I could just message him, So send connection requests, reply in their messages. I mean, don't be too quick to send DMs. I think people need to be careful, because if you're talking to a busy person, you want to make sure you respect his time. So for instance, if you send a DM or send an email unsolicited, don't just say hi or hello. That is, it means you probably will not get a response. Say what you want to say. Say, hi, my name is Godwin. We met at this event. I would like to ask you this question, or is there this that I can help you with? Or I've noticed this in your business. I think I can, help in some way. Make sure that people know you, respond to comments, just keep sharing value. If there is a value you have that you think will be helpful to someone, offer to help, even if it's for free, because what you're doing is you're trying to build, like I said, build relationships before you need them. It will be awkward when you need something and that's the only time you reach out. Some of us have friends like that. Whenever they call you, that these are ones that ask me for something. You know how you feel around those people. You don't really feel comfortable, even though you help them. But there's a way you feel that every time you call me is to send you something. So don't be that way when you're trying to build relationship. Think of, what can I give? What can I offer? Even if it's the person's birthday, and you sit down and write a very thoughtful message to say, you might not know me, but I've learned so much from you. When you did this, you did that, you said this, I read about you here, and it has helped me achieve 1, 2, 3 things. It goes a long way. And I'll give a personal experience. Sometime in secondary school. I was maybe in SS2 or SS1, I can't remember. The then Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, organized an education fair for students. And I was one of those that attended. We went from Lagos to Abuja. Of course, she doesn't know me personally, but I was part of that event. And the main push of the event was to inspire kids to learn to read, to research, ask questions, and things like that. So the event made a huge impression on me, and it helped me, learn to at least love to read going on. Fast forward several years later on, when we now had Twitter, we had all that. So one day I was just going through Twitter and I saw her tweet, and I just sent her a DM telling her that, referring that campaign she did, when I was, maybe 12 years old. I still had a picture of it. So in the mail, I said this was what you did. You helped me learn to read. I showed the picture of me and her when she was taking me. I was still a boy then. And after that, this is what I'm now doing. I've gone on to also make impact in education, blah, blah, blah. He actually followed me, sent me a mail inviting me to Abuja, and now we're actually friends. To imagine that it was just one DM that did that, but it wasn't like an empty DM just saying hi. I made sure she found some value in what I was saying. She was happy to learn about, wow, this little boy that was part of my campaign in 2017 or so has become a man now, and he has done this great venture. So always have that in mind, that you want to make them feel happy about communicating with you, connecting with you, find some value in the chat, and offer yourself, offer some value, show up, be present, ask questions, make sure your name is known, and then you see people would always want to talk to you or, learn from you. So that's how you build the relationships within your network.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, sir. That was a good one. All right, guys. Thank you so much for staying up to this point. I I really want to thank each and every one of us for your participation in today's session. The topic was building a startup in 2024, and I'm sure that we got a lot of tips from this session. So, because you stayed this long with us, I have something to share before we go. So, please permit me to share my screen. Okay, so because you actually stayed this long with us, I have this to talk about before we go. So this program was proudly brought to you by Bincom Dev Center, and we are running a 3 month program that enables you to become a global tech talent. So if you want to embark on a transformative journey in the world of technology, Bincom's 3 month program is your gateway to becoming a global tech talent. This intensive program is designed to equip you with skills, knowledge, and experience needed to strive in the dynamic tech industry. So this program will offer tech trainings. The program will begin with comprehensive and hands-on technical trainings and curriculum. You will dive deep into the latest technologies, programming languages, and industry best practices. So if you're a beginner or an experienced tech enthusiast, our courses cater for all skill levels, ensuring that you acquire the essential expertise required to excel in the tech world. We also offer individual tech career coaching, where we believe that every tech talent is unique and your career journey should be too. That's why our program includes personalized career coaching section. Our experienced mentors will work closely with you to identify your strength, passion, and career goals. They will also provide you with guidance and support to help you map out a tailored career path in the tech field. We'll be offering tech apprenticeship with UK companies. So one of the standout features of our program is the opportunity to gain real-world experience through tech apprenticeship with leading UK companies. So you have the chance to apply your newly acquired skills in a professional setting, collaborate with experienced professionals, and contribute to meaningful projects. This hands-on experience will not only enhance your technical skills, but will also make you a valuable asset in the global tech landscape. So at the end of this 3 months program, you will just be a normal tech enthusiast. You'll be a globally recognized tech talent ready to make a significant impact in the tech industry. So if you're interested in this, and you're sure you really want to join us for this exciting journey, please watch out for the chat, because we're sharing valuable links where you can gain or put in your interest if you're interested in this service. So Bincom is happy to have you here. Myself, I'm super excited to have each and every one of us join us. This has been like an interesting, impactful, informative session. And I'm sure you two were also very, very impressed. So if you want to stay updated with our community events, or you like to join other community events as well, please look out for the chat. The links are already being shared here in this session. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know if Mr. David has any last words before we call it a day.
No, I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me, and just go out there and do something, create something, and solve a problem. And so the sky is the limit. Well done, everybody.
All right, guys. So please, the knowledge you've got here today is not just going to end in your pen, your paper, your jotters. It's best that we put it into practice. So please, if you want to continue this conversation and you also want to connect with other techies, other entrepreneurs, other startup founders, there are links in the chat here to our Bincom Tech Network. So please do well to join this session. Thank you so much for taking our time to be a part of this session with us. I will look forward to having you some other time. Have a great day.